Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Concerned Citizen. My name is Matthew. We just got the news not so long ago, a day, right, or so ago, that Trump had won the election. I had been watching lots of videos even before the election, looking at polls, making myself crazy, and a lot of you were probably feeling, for what? The polls were wrong. I think we've learned that not to underestimate the influence that Trump has. He is a business salesman. He knows how to sell a product. I equate him to a used car salesman. Someone's going to go, wow, that car is great. And he's like, yes, it is. You drive off the lot, it's a piece of shit. So, you know, I last night, or the night of election at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m., right, knew that Kamala was not going to win. It did not look in her favor. They were comparing on the news Biden's numbers to Clinton, and it was between Clinton and Biden numbers, which she needed to do much better than Biden to win. So already right there, I went to bed at I think like 12, a little after 12, and I had lots of anxiety. I was like, what does this mean? Um, and I have to say, a lot of people are posting that the anxiety that people feel is unwarranted, meaning that if the individuals who are concerned about things, and even people in my own family, which we'll get to, but I don't think so, because a lot of these concerns come from the person, Trump himself. So if you can't be concerned about the person and what they're saying directly, or what they've done in their first term, then what else do you have to go by? You know, we saw the effects and impact of a Trump presidency even after he was gone, right? So, versus Roe versus Wade was gone by the Supreme Court justices that he appointed. We saw during his presidency the racial division like none other. And I imagine we're going to go back there, right? We've seen gay and trans rights be kind of targeted and taken back, and places like Florida, right, with drag queens. And you've seen this kind of thing in multiple states that are talking about like schools want, your child going in one gender, coming home another gender. Lots of things that are fearful. And the MO for Trump, and this is what gets me upset, and because I'm very about character morality, right, is I feel like we sacrificed our character morality over our own personal benefit of what we feel financially he's going to bring for us. And I did not vote for him. So, and there's lots of people you're talking to, and they're like, no, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be great. Oh my god, it's gonna be like his first term. I was like, what? A piece of shit term? You mean the one where Puerto Rico had the hurricane and he, denied aid along with Liz Cheney? She also voted against it, and but listen, she was trying to support Harris. But and then he wanted to trade Puerto Rico with Greenland. That's what he said. Listen, this is out of the man's mouth, because right now people are going to go, Matthew, you're sounding ridiculous. And I'm like, well, the freaking man said it himself. So if you want to go somebody's ridiculous, it's Donald Trump. So you can't deny in this regard. I've never liked the Electoral College, but Trump won the popular vote. And I saw comments in other channels where people go, what is the popular vote? Well, the popular vote is basically every single vote being counted and being measured for a candidate. Now, it's not how we choose a president in the United States, but Donald Trump got nationwide, so far, the majority of the votes. And Kamala Harris, coming up behind, I think at 47, right, percent to 51 so far. She got 67 million, where he had 72 million. Now we'll see if Trump gets the most votes, as he says, the biggest election that there ever is. That was me trying to do, a Trump impression. It was huge, So, and then, like Trump is going, I asked for unity. these past 4 years have been divided. Well, I have news for you, freaking man. It's been even more than 4 years because when you were president, it was pretty divided. So, it's interesting how he just comes with this rhetoric. And he's saying all these things, these terrible things, and then he goes, "We need unity right now." Uh, I'm like dumbfounded. It's really interesting also to see like on social media, like how people who were in support of Trump, at least in my inner circle, right, um, were saying, "Hey, this Trump is going to be stolen by Democrats. They're already stealing the election." Then the results are posted, and they're like, "Oh, fairest election I ever saw." I was like, really, again, roll eyes. And it's really interesting these people who are voting for Trump saying terrible things about other people, making fun of them, saying terrible things that I won't repeat, and then after Trump won, posting inspirational messages. This is what a leader looks like, standing up for injustice, standing up for the American people, fighting for every person, no matter of your race, creed, or your financial situation, right? I'm like, what a load of bullshit. But hey, they voted for him. I guess like if you're looking for like kind of comfort and you're like, wow, Matthew, so far this video is just negativity. I guess in some ways, this is a wake-up call to the Democratic Party. I feel, to be honest, the Democratic Party goes to center, and the Republicans went far right in their rhetoric, and a lot of people supported it because it was transparent, it was extreme, they knew where they stood. I think Democrats trying to appeal to the middle is basically saying no message at all for lots of people. So I truly believe in my hearts of hearts, because I feel like more progressive, that we need more progressive messages from the Democratic Party to make ourselves stand out, to actually show what a progressive message actually is, which is that everyone should have the right to health care in this country. And people are going to say, everyone, Matthew? Okay, you want to give citizens? Yeah, citizens, American citizens deserve the right to health care. You shouldn't go broke because you got sick, right? That's my belief. And I think you should have the right to higher education, because that invests back in the economy. Hey, you're healthy, you're, educated, getting back into the economy. I think that, now that Trump has won, I think I look back and I say, okay, Trump won when Hillary Clinton. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to point out all the bullcrap that Trump does. And I realized that there was a lot of opposition to that. People were just living in their bubble of bliss and saying that, he was being critiqued too hard. And I'm gonna say, what he's representing, and if I see validation in it, automatically, like I said, you know what I get concerned with? Number one concern when I'm talking about character is that he is not a person that shows empathy, and therefore lots of his core base do not show empathy as well. And number one thing I saw on Facebook and other social media was making fun of people, saying that these people we're going after these people, and I was like, this just proves me right, and I hate to be proven right. Like I said to the person I was talking to online, who's a Trump supporter, is like, I hope I'm wrong, but just seeing what he did in his first term, and I don't have much hopes. So I was like, oh, already validated one of my concerns, which I didn't need much validation. You could just read the room. I have family members who voted for Trump, and I think that this is interesting because there's a part of the base of Trump supporters who don't understand why people are concerned or scared, right? So if you're a person that feels like, I'm not gay, or I'm gay and financially stable, I'm not an immigrant, then I'm okay. And you look at those who are concerned, and a woman, or what have you, right, trans, you look at those individuals concerned, you go, what are you complaining about? You're delusional. And like I said to the person on Facebook, I said, you know, the jury's out if we are truly delusional, like you're saying, because I, I believe that once Trump's in, he's going to prove us right. And I hate to say that. Um, I guess my wish is that anyone who didn't vote for him, I hope that there's not harm in the what I believe in regards to policies towards these individuals. I hope if there is a negative kind of impact from a Trump election, it more goes towards those who supported him, to be in all honesty, because I see that the only way that these individuals who voted for him are thinking about self gain. So the only way that you are going to kind of fight is if you are personally impacted. And I don't think that anyone who voted against him should be penalized by his policies. Like, you supported this policy, you love this policy, it doesn't work out, you're the person that should get the impact. But that's not how it works. We're all in this debate together. I asked myself, like, I wonder how long into Trump's presidency will, people start indicating buyer's remorse. Because there was like an amnesia. Like, everyone goes, it was COVID. So it was very interesting. Like I said, I had family members who voted for Trump, my siblings, and they really don't understand why I'm concerned and upset. One, I'm a Puerto Rican gay man, and I grew up in a small town in upstate New York. I have been called faggot. I have had people try to run me over. I have, had lots of hate directed towards me. It was hurtful. It made me stronger, but I wish no one had that experience. Meanwhile, my siblings who support Trump have never had that hardship. So we come from different worlds and experiences. So lots of the things that I'm saying that I'm concerned about, for them, they were like, yeah, he says these things. Yeah, his people say these things, but they don't mean it. Everything's going to be fine. I don't know what you're talking about. And, treating me like I'm an idiot. And I think that was hurtful. Because, one, they never watched the news for Trump, so they're just informed by talking points from their partner. And then, the other part here is they never reached out to me when my boyfriend had a stroke. Never visited me in the 3 years, going through recovery with him. And I've always known them to be, focused more on themselves, because if anything happens, with my mom or anyone else, or that my mom says something that they disagree with, it's inconvenience for them. It makes them angry. It makes them upset. They're like, I just don't want negativity. So I think that's what makes me kind of upset there. I mean, I love them, but I realize that, certain family members, my siblings, distance themselves, and it's okay. I realize that that's what I need. I need to distance myself. I will only probably, mainly focus on those who love and support me, because, I'm only wanted around, here and there, and I don't feel loved, to be honest. And it's hurtful. Because I think that outside of the election, like, people go, oh, you're dividing over political differences, this doesn't matter. But I think that a lot of people, where they're coming from, is that when you have family and they, let's say, vote against your personal interest, I mean, in the sense that there's rights at stake that you feel, and I hope that Trump maybe doesn't follow through. Again, I'm doubtful, but it hurts a lot. It hurts a lot, right? And I think it's easy right now to be in the position of, being a Trump supporter and looking at this with just clarity and enlightenment. But I think that is just individuals who were really excited and happy. I truly hope that he does good for all the American people. Now, a lot of people are quoting, "Hey, my Tesla stock is up a lot." Of course, Elon Musk being associated with Trump, and I have to say, um, I hated when Democrats use the stock market, and right now, it's interesting. The same people who are saying, everything's struggling, stock market doesn't is not my bottom dollar, all of a sudden are saying Tesla stock is up. See this? Oh, I was like, oh, you all of a sudden have money now, just overnight. you know, uh, yeah, the hypocrisy is just so interesting, and I think that the other area I see is like there's no empathy, right? Uh, like to be honest, when I saw what happened with the Trump shooting and assassination attempt, I saw those people and the American who shot. I saw Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and other Democrats reach across the aisle and express sympathy. When Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked, Donald Trump just added on to the attack in the sense of really saying terrible things. So these are two different people. When Kamala Harris lost, she conceded and said that she wants to, continue the work forward in what she believes. She will help, Trump transition to the presidency, and she wished him luck and success in his term. As opposed to Trump, when he lost, was saying, the election's stolen. Frankly, I already had won. I won, and then I lost it. That's what he was doing. So, huge contrast, and I mean, yes, this man. They chose to be the leader. I think that a lot of Americans voted for Trump because the economy, like I was saying, is a huge issue. I think that Democrats really need to focus on their messaging. The Republicans showed that if you take a strong position, which was far right position, you know, targeting groups of people, immigrants, much like Hitler did in the past, right? And when you target a group of people and you vilify them, the Haitian people, when his party calls Puerto Rican people garbage. When you talk about people illegally crossing, when you talk about trans people or gay people, right, in the party, right, saying what they want to do, they're grooming your children. It creates an enemy that you're all united behind, at least the majority. The Democrats playing the middleman and center, it really doesn't help anything. I think that, to tell you the truth, if there's anything we can learn from Trump and the Republicans, MAGA, right, far right, is that you need to stand for a message and don't make any promises or don't make apologies, because I think they should go for progressive policies. Why not? Everyone is entitled to have access to health care who's an American citizen, right? Everyone who's an American citizen should have access to higher education without the fear that one medical instance is going to make you go bankrupt. That's a progressive policy, and people always go, how are you going to pay for it? Well, Trump's going to give another tax break to the rich again, and nobody's asking what impact that's going to have. It's estimated to be $7 trillion adding to our deficit, which, by the way, our interest in our deficit is larger than our defense budget. So, looking at when I was talking to the person, they were like, his first term was so great, Matthew. It's going to be like that. And I was like, we remember it differently. I don't remember that so fondly. I remember the racial division in the country. Okay, let me just share a story. I went to New York State Fair with my mom. There was a woman there who said she had to take her daughter out of school because at that time, her last name was Chavez, and there was that Hugo Chavez thing that was going around, and there was so much hatred and bullying towards her daughter. She was afraid for her life because Donald Trump had created that division. Then you also have the appointment of the Supreme Court justices. Now, if you're in favor of that, that's great. But guess what? Not everyone is happy about the decisions that Supreme Court made with the justices that he put in place. You have Roe versus Wade. You have the getting rid of the Chevron deference, right, to reference, where judges can just, without deferring to the actual, let's say, organization as experts, they can just be an expert themselves without having any knowledge. You also have the poor handling under the Trump presidency of Puerto Rico, denying aid, which Liz Cheney also voted for. You have him wanting to trade Puerto Rico with Green Island because he really saw Puerto Rico as just being worthless. And then you have the botched COVID. Now, I don't. I'm going to be fair. I don't blame Trump for the pandemic itself, right? That's unrealistic. I do blame Trump for his management of it. The misinformation, right? Making false promises. Hey, this will be gone by the summer. It was not gone by the summer, right? Trump gave tax cuts for the rich, and everyone celebrated and loved it because it impacted them so much. Because everyone looks at the Trump presidency and says, I was making so much money. When Trump was president, my annual raise was 1% at my company. Now, with other laws that have increased the minimum wage yearly, at least in New York State, right? And I think also federally it impacted as well, at least for salaried individuals. I saw a 5% increase. Now, that's not a lot for some, but better than what I was getting before. So it'll be interesting to see where my annual increase will be. Now, a lot of people say, hey, the stocks are up. And I hate this as a measurement because stocks, just tell me that the rich are getting richer. And I understand that Democrats really failed in this messaging because they were just saying, hey, stocks are doing good. But that measures the economy for the rich. So it's interesting that people were like saying, look at Tesla stock is up and all this other crap, are saying that as a measurement. And I was like, so your problems are all fixed. You now can afford all your eggs. And at the same time, Trump's selling sneakers and all these fancy watches, right? I should say, no, not fancy, tacky watches that are expensive. And people are buying them up. I think that there's been a large shift with transphobia, homophobia, and obviously the impacts after Trump presidency has also been in abortion rights. So what's next? I think it's our job, if you're not a Trump supporter, or if you are, right, to pay attention. A lot of people are going into this really optimistic, right? And I have to say, Democrats are naturally pessimistic, so even for our own people we vote for, we're always looking and not satisfied. But there is a cult-like following with Trump. There's lots of excuses that individuals will make for Trump. I mean, he's had so many businesses fail that nobody cares about that. Because they say, he is going to make it right for us, regardless of the fact that he doesn't pay anybody any money. So he never pays his bills. I think it's important that we educate ourselves. We will see if Project 2025 does come to fruition, or as they want to call it, like Agenda 47. I think that it's interesting to see. Trump said immediately after he was elected, the war in Ukraine would immediately end. Well, it has not happened. So we'll see before he's elected, actually sworn in, if it ends. Because he said it was before he would get sworn in. Now, he said immediately. It didn't happen. He also said that, we're going to have the best economy ever. Right now, the United States does have the best economy. So there's that. We already do compared to other countries. We had a soft landing after, COVID. And then he wants to secure the border. It's going to be very interesting to see what this entails. So mass deportations, and we'll see when individuals start seeing women, families, and children being separated from each other in unhuman ways, and also potentially people being falsely accused of not being United States citizens, where they're doing audits into like employers or going into businesses to verify individual citizenship. So I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm not sure about you. I'm so fortunate to have some people in my family that, they are like-minded with me, with empathy, caring. Um, if you're a Trump supporter, I hope that the presidency doesn't end up like I think it will. If you are not a Trump supporter, we've been through this before. If you look at history, you have lots of people who are in support of slavery, and look where that turned out when they lost. You had many years where black people couldn't vote. Look where we are now and how history looks back upon that moment. You had women not able to vote, and now look how we look back at that moment. So I think that this is going to be another one of those moments where we'll see. Will history look fondly on us as we selected Donald Trump to be our next 47th president again? Or will we look back and kind of disgust with those who were blindsided and coerced, manipulated, delusional, and believing that Donald Trump would help them? I just gave all the things that I've been called in this 24 hours since Trump won the election, and since they know I have not supported Trump. So leave a comment, let me know what you think. I will continue to put videos up and call out Trump as he speaks and as he puts out his policy agenda and as he preps. I will be calling out my family members. They don't want to hear it? Well, guess too bad. You voted for him, and I am going to tell you all the shit that he is doing. So I think that that's the solace and peace that I have, is that I don't have to defend. I don't have to sit there and listen anymore to the critiques of the current president. I get to be the person that's critiquing and criticizing the president. So that will be exciting. Meanwhile, when people are going to defend and say, "Oh my God, Matthew, he's doing awesome," I was like, really? I was like, crazy. So, yeah, really disappointing. But hopefully you're all doing well. Bye.